And as controversial as it is, I tell my clients and the people in my world that your thoughts don't become things, that it isn't about how you feel and staying in a high vibration and thinking happy thoughts and being positive all day. That is not how you create what you want.
Ever wonder why you're taking all of the right actions but still feeling completely stuck? Here's the truth. God created this universe. He set the laws that govern it, and every choice we make operates under the governance of His kingdom. When we align our daily actions with His design, we tap into the true abundance we have access to through Jesus. Did you know that we have a free community of spirit-led leaders just like you? Powerhouse men and women who are digging deep into these exact kingdom principles so they can lead with authentic authority. Head over to authenticvoiceleadership.com right now and join the conversation. Connect with like-minded leaders and grab all of the exclusive resources and goodies from today's expert. Today, we are sitting down with Karen Baines, the founder of the Conscious Wealth Code. For more than 10 years, Karen has been teaching business owners the energetic language of money, wealth, and the universe through alignment, which she beautifully defines as living 100% unapologetically from love. Through powerful forensic deep dives, she helps entrepreneurs find the missing pieces of their puzzle so they can stop sending misaligned signals and naturally show up truly as they are, absolutely limitless. Karen, I am so glad that you're here with us today. Could you go ahead and start telling us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Well, it's lovely to be here as well. Thank you for inviting me. And yes, I'm Karen Baines. I am the founder of the Conscious Wealth Code, and I work with people, helping them to align with more money. I mean, it might actually not be money. It could be anything that they desire, like in terms of abundance or wealth, whatever it is that they've been working to create in their lives, usually for quite a long time. But my favorite people to work with are people who are running their own businesses or thinking about running their own businesses, because we're wired in a fairly specific way. We're actually designed to create wealth and abundance through our businesses by adding value to the lives of others. So although I focus on money, wealth, abundance, what I actually teach is alignment. And the definition of alignment, as I see it, is you do you 100% of the time, 100% unapologetically, and 100% from a place of love. And that place of love is usually acts of self-love. And that brings all the good stuff just effortlessly into our own world. But it's one of the reasons why a lot of humans don't get what they want, because they're very good at giving to others and not so great at putting themselves first.
Oh,
Mhm.
yes. So, how can somebody think about this in a way that would be an abundant mindset? I love the alignment piece, being who you are wherever you are. I do that too with the voice. So, I love to think about it from an abundant standpoint.
Well, really, it's less of an attitude shift. What I do in the world, and I do want to make this really clear, is where a lot of people might be teaching mindset and clearing blocks and restrictions and dealing with limiting beliefs and that kind of stuff. By the time someone lands in my orbit, by the time they're ready to hear what it is that I've got to say, it's because they've done all the inner work. They don't need to be doing any more of that. The actual issue in terms of what is really getting in their way at the point they universe happily collides them with me is that they've done all that stuff, but their actions are actually broadcasting what I call a misaligned signal. Because the energetic language of the universe, the energetic language of abundance, the energetic language of money is actually frequency. It's
Yes.
vibration or frequency. I use the two terms, I interchange them. And actually, the way that a human being broadcasts that frequency is through the actions that that human does. It's grounded, practical ways that they are operating and behaving in the world, the tasks that they're spending their time on. And those things vibrate at a frequency which is always broadcasting, whether it's about money or business or not. You are always broadcasting whether or not you're available to receive money, abundance, wealth, opportunities, yellow Lamborghini on the driveway, boat in the harbour, whatever that looks like. Whatever wealth and abundance look like for you, A, is absolutely available to you, or you wouldn't want it in the first place. That would be the sickest universal joke ever, and it just isn't a thing. And secondly, is absolutely available for you right now. The steps are available for you to make a big enough shift to have, at the very least, a small version of your bigger dream land within a 3-month period. And as controversial as it is, I tell my clients and the people in my world that your thoughts don't become things, that it isn't about how you feel and staying in a high vibration and thinking happy thoughts and being positive all day. That is not how you create what you want. That's not how you manifest. That's not what manifesting is about, if that's a word that your audience are familiar with. It's not about an attitude. It is about actually creating the congruent conditions through frequency and vibration, which happens when you do something. And every time a human being does something, underneath it is the silent frequency, the unseen, unheard frequency, but the universe hears that. And it says yes, because we're governed by universal law, and one of those laws is the law of attraction. But the law of attraction simply states that like attracts like. It simply states the universe says yes. But the universe is saying yes to every single frequency that human beings are broadcasting. So if you think about money for a minute, because everybody understands what money is and what money means to them. But when it comes to human beings and money is actually a commodity that human beings exchange for what they value. Okay, so we swap money for something that we value, whether it's physical material goods or it's experiences that we can put our physical bodies into, like vacations and trips. It's still something that we exchange. We want something in return. We value that thing. Okay, so if a human being is over here vibrating that they're devaluing themselves in some way within a relationship. Maybe they're a bit of a people pleaser, or maybe they're prioritizing other people's feelings above their own. Maybe they're doing tasks on a day-to-day basis in their lives that they really don't love doing. In actual fact, they actually hate doing them. But they've got to do them, they have to do them, they must do them. And actually, the truth of the matter is, unless a human has got a gun to his or her head, you don't have to do anything. You are complete, like a human being has free will and choice. That is one of our superpowers. That's what makes us so different and unique. And the universe relies on that ability for a human being to have free will and choice, so that every time that human being does something and that human being is vibrating that frequency, the universe is reading that frequency from a completely non-judgmental space, assuming that the human being must want more of what it's vibrating because it's got free will and choice. So why would that person be vibrating obligation? Why would that person be doing something that they don't want to do when they've got free will and choice? that person must want more things in their life that feel like obligation. So the universe drops in more things that a human being thinks it has to do. And then that human being spends more time doing stuff that it has to do. And then they're broadcasting more obligation. And that frequency can only perpetuate more of the same. Whereas money is over here vibrating value, freedom, expansion, all the good stuff. But the human is over here vibrating obligation, sacrifice, resentment, guilt, not enough. And money doesn't flow. Simple.
I think that you bring up such a cool point that what's out there a lot is that manifesting is about our thoughts, and our thoughts do influence our actions. But can you talk to more about the actual how the frequency is affecting, like what we're doing is affecting the frequency? Because, with the voice work, it's about frequency and tone and
Yes.
resonance, and what's going on internally shows up externally whether we want to or not. And so I love that you bring up the point about it's not necessarily about what we feel, but can you bridge that gap for me, like between what we feel and what we think and what we're doing and the things that the intention behind it?
Absolutely. It is the frequency is of what you're doing. So, for example, let me expand on it a little bit. Every single human being on the planet is gifted a brand new 24 hours. It doesn't matter who they are, where they're from, what class, color, creed that they were born into. Doesn't matter. Everybody gets a brand new, fresh 24 hours. You can't rewind it, you can't do it over, and it could all be gone tomorrow, right? So
Yes.
it is the most powerful commodity that we have. You can always make more money. People can always make more money. They might not believe it, but they can. But you can't make more time. You get those 24 hours and you have free will and choice over how you spend those 24 hours. Notice even the language is the same. We spend money, we spend our time doing. Now, a human being, your soul, if you like, the infinite part of you, that is a small piece of the universe. It's the infinite part of you because it's a small piece of the universe. And it travels around inside your physical body. It chose to be human in this lifetime. And human beings live in a third dimensional practical world. Everything that is around us is either a space that we can put our physical bodies into, or is something we can touch, something we can smell, something we can feel physically. Our feelings and our thoughts, they're not tangible. So if you think of the universe like infinity, like where the universal laws sit, that's fifth dimensional, where the angels and, all of that realm, that's fifth dimensional. You've got the third dimension, which is where we are, the humans, grounded, practical, physical world that we affect every day. The fourth dimension is where the feelings and the thoughts sit. They're the bridge. They're the bridge between the human being and infinite creation. Okay, so our thoughts and feelings, the way I like to describe our thoughts and feelings is that they're like our internal navigation system. They're like it's like a human being's GPS. If we feel something, to us, the human, it has either a negative or a positive. It's either something that feels neutral or it has a negative and positive. And that's our guidance system. If it feels good, yeah, let's do more of it. If it feels rubbish, it's our feelings telling us that no, that choice is not aligned. We need to course correct. Okay, so our feelings are our navigational system. And our thoughts are work in tandem with our feelings. Our thoughts are how our soul communicates through frequency and vibration to us, the human. So the frequency and vibration is the energetic language of the universe, of money, and how your soul communicates with you. but the human being translates that frequency broadcast from the soul into thoughts. So everything a human being wants, the reason why it's absolutely available, otherwise we wouldn't want it, is because it's not actually our idea. We think it's us because we're human beings, and that's how we operate. Oh, I really like that, but I don't like that. I want that, but I don't want that. I like what he's got, but I'm not so keen on what she's got. I used to really like that, but I don't like it anymore. If you
Hmm.
think about how a human operates in the world every minute of every day, we're comparing
Yeah.
every, it's on a very subconscious level, but it's actually our innate way to navigate our day-to-day lives. And those thoughts are actually the translation of what our soul is guiding us towards, because our soul will always guide us towards what's more aligned for us to do, so that it gets to experience itself in that frequency. Because when we align with that, when we align with what our soul wants by actually acting on what we want more of and not doing what we don't want to do, like the obligation stuff, the sacrifice stuff, and then instead do things more that bring us joy and prioritize ourselves and how we feel within relationships with others, then that naturally broadcasts to the universe the frequency that it says yes to. So the soul knows completely what's going on because it's the infinite part of the universe. It's part of the whole, you see?
Yes.
So the the thoughts and feelings are the bridge so that we can navigate our alignment so that the universe gets to expand infinitely again and again and again by bringing human beings together and creating whole new levels of consciousness, you see. So everything you want and everything you desire is actually what your soul wants for you because it wants to experience itself in that frequency. The
Hmm.
happy byproduct of that is that the more we do that, the more in flow we are, the more we get more of what we want, the more things happen that we are in absolute awe of, the more ways we get to contribute to raising the frequency and have a ripple effect, not just on the people around us, but on the entire planet.
That's awesome. How does somebody go from this drudging task that they have to do, quote unquote,
Mhm.
into the place of joy, even when there's tasks that are necessary for us to make progress? Is it an attitude shift? Is it
No, it's
a
that the
delegation
attitude.
shift?
The attitude isn't going to change a thing, unfortunately. If it was just an attitude shift, then everybody would be manifesting everything they want all of the time.
Exactly. I'm like, how
So
does this
it's
work?
not, unfortunately, it's not that. But the way I teach my clients how to start working with alignment, because what I'm talking to you about is like the alignment and how that works. And I do this with my people in very grounded, practical ways.
Hmm.
And the way I would address this to begin with is I want everybody to imagine a scale of 1 to 10. And that scale is represented by 1, the number 1, this sucks and I hate doing it. And the number 10, which is I would do this every minute of the day for the rest of my life without getting paid because I love doing it so much. If I won the lottery, I would still do this thing, right? That's your scale of 1 to 10. Now,
Okay.
anything that you're spending time doing that naturally feels like an 8, 9, and 10. So, all people need to really do is to start being aware of how they're feeling when they're doing a certain task. And if it feels like an 8, 9, or 10, you're naturally vibrating wealth, abundance, and money. So, do more of that.
Even
Anything,
if it's not an income producing
yeah,
activity?
it doesn't, even if it's not an income producing activity, because the thing is, the universe doesn't compartmentalize. So you can't compartmentalize energy. Humans are very good at compartmentalizing tasks because otherwise
Yes.
we'd live in chaos. But the universe does, you can't compartmentalize energy, which means that if you're doing eight, nines, and tens, there is a nuance to it, but just to answer your question in a way that people can grab some information and run with it for now, anything that you're doing that's an eight, nine, and 10 already is vibrating money. It's vibrating wealth. It's vibrating abundance. If you're doing something and you're like, oh my God, this brings me so much joy on a scale of 1 to 10, it feels like a 9. The universe is reading the frequency of joy. You're vibrating joy because you feel joy. Okay? So the feeling that you have that's connected to whatever it is you're doing, that it defines the energy, it defines the frequency, the vibration. The universe just reads the frequency, but brings you more things to do that feel like joy, because the universe says yes. And then you get the chance to be in that frequency of joy more and more and more. Now, anything that feels like, nah, I don't hate it, but it's not, I'm not in love with it. And the chances are you might used to have been in love with it because that's the natural progression of the human. But if it feels like a 6 or a 7, it's kind of likely what I call a to-do list task.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to spend more time in to-do list tasks than you're spending in your 8, 9s, and 10s tasks. Okay, you need that. It's not even about striking a balance. You need to be doing more tasks that feel like 8, 9s, and 10s and less 6s and 7s. But you don't want to eradicate the 6s and 7s completely. Okay, because the 6s and 7s are what take what I call the airy fairy energy of the 8s, 9s, and 10s, your heady 8, 9s, and 10s, and ground it in. It takes it from the 5th dimension to the 3rd dimension where we are and grounds it in by doing the human tasks, right? So you just want to make sure you're doing more tasks that feel like 8, 9s, and 10s, some tasks that feel like 6s and 7s. Now, anything that feels like a 5 or below, you're in what I call obligation danger. You're in obligation territory. The lower the number, the quicker you got to get it off your plate because you're vibrating obligation. Obligation, have to, got to, should do, must do. Sacrifice, if you have to do something, if you're doing something that you have to do, you're naturally vibrating sacrifice as well because you're sacrificing what you want to do for something that you don't want to do. And then you're going to be resentful because that's human nature. None of
Okay.
those things vibrate money because money's
Right.
over here vibrating abundance and wealth. And anytime you're doing anything that's a 5 or below on that scale, you're devaluing yourself and you're devaluing your time, which is the biggest point of leverage that you have as a human. To value your time in a way that is aligned so that universe can bring you more, right? So find the tasks, start doing some time tracking, find the tasks that are lowest on that scale, and then you've got 4 choices. The lower the task, the quicker you need to get it off your plate. You either just stop doing it completely, you delegate it to someone else, you streamline it so you spend less time doing it, or you automate it so that you don't spend any time there at all.
Oh, that's so good. I am thinking about this, and it reminds me of the energy audit that I talk about with my clients and people in my life is like what gives you energy, what takes
Mm,
energy from you, and what is neutral. And this sounds like another layer of that. So,
it
like,
really is.
and through the energy, yes, through the energy audit, I found out that I actually don't mind doing my dishes. I like the way I feel when I'm done. It gives me energy to be finished.
I'm the same, not about doing dishes, but loading my dishwasher and unloading my dishwasher. I love loading it because it gives me an opportunity. My husband will always say, I'm not going anywhere near that because you've done a Chinese puzzle again. Like, my brain is wired to figure things out. Figure I can do that very quickly for other people, and I do it for myself. And making things fit in an aligned way in the dishwasher so everything gets clean and everything gets washed and nothing gets broken. It's one of the things I find it very therapeutic. To me, that's a 6. I'd never delegate that to anybody.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right.
I've actually started appreciating the time that I get when I'm doing, because we don't have a dishwasher in our house,
Yeah.
so I do
Yeah.
it all by hand.
Yeah.
And it's methodical and it's relaxing. And
Mm.
then the end result makes me happy.
Yeah.
And so I would say it's not an 8 or a 9, but I
Yeah.
would say it's probably a 6 or a 7, which
Mhm.
I wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't have been doing an energy audit.
Yeah.
And so I find it interesting, the concept of what you're talking about, because my natural mind goes an 8 or a 9. That's, oh, I'm going to go water skiing today, or I'm going to hike today.
Oh, no, that's an 11, 12.
Yes.
11, 12. That's off the scale.
Yeah, so the tasks of the day can
Mm.
still be 8s and 9s when it brings us joy. And
Totally.
that's a really interesting thing to think about, because I think that we often just assume that the tasks are going to be
Mm.
a 1 or a 2, right? Or a 3 or a 4. But when we actually evaluate how we're feeling when we're doing it,
Yeah.
then that's what can give us that information, right? Is that
Yeah,
is that the right track?
yeah, absolutely. And the great thing about it is it's the natural byproduct of that is more money, more abundance, more wealth, more opportunities, better relationships, better health, all the things that go along with that. Because money and or anything you desire, so you can switch the word money out for anything that you desire, but money is a happy byproduct of alignment, and you in alignment is doing your 8, 9s and 10s. That's why they feel so good. Now you talked about the 11s and 12s, the hiking, the water skiing, that's what I call a stretch frequency, and the stretch frequency is really, really important, but it has a different, it has a different reason to exist. Like, you need it so that you can stay in love with your business and your life. It extends you into who you're becoming. You need that. But the thing is, it's who you're becoming, not who you are. Whereas your 8s, 9s, and 10s are who you are. So you can do the 8s, 9s, and 10s sustainably without burning out and getting sick.
Mm.
If you spend too much time in 11 and 12, what I call stretch frequency activities, it's not sustainable. So you only get a smaller window of time in your week that you engage with that in a consistent way, so that it pulls you into your next level. It gives the universe and your soul the opportunity to help you ground in that as your new normal, because eventually your stretch frequency, your 11s and 12s, will become your 8, 9s, and 10s eventually. But it might be 6 months, a year away, maybe even longer. And if you do too much too soon, you'll overstretch. And overstretch is out of alignment, because then you have to pull back and recharge and recalibrate, and you're tired, you're burnt out, you might get sick. You can't give because you've emptied your cup. Okay? So yeah, I mean, I'm aware that I'm completely monopolizing this conversation, but you've got me in my gift zone. You've got me in my 8, 9s, and 10s, and I'm loving it. So thank
I
you
love
so
it.
much. And you're absolutely in yours too,
Yes.
because this is a two-way conversation, which is actually important to the 8s, 9s, and 10s when you're wired the way we are,
Mhm.
in terms of being in service to others, because you and I are witnessing one another in our high frequency energy. Your gift is triggering my gift. and we're bouncing off of each other and we're both vibrating at a really high level. We're adding value to the lives of others because other people will listen and be hopefully inspired and get some new ideas and new understanding on how things work energetically,
Yes.
but really grounded practical ways that they can actually start affecting their lives in really good ways. And that happened because you and I came together and had this conversation that's never happened before. It will never happen again. And that's created a whole new level of consciousness. And
Yes.
that's what we're here for. That's how this all works.
I love this. So my thoughts go to the activities that we're choosing, even in this kind of situation where we absolutely love it. The conversation is something that is life giving, that we're both drawing from and receiving from and giving to. And there's also times where I've had people that I've talked to where it's almost been hard to have conversation,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still my element. How does
Yes.
that work with this concept where we're right now we're just continuing, it gets more
Yes.
exciting,
Yes. Yeah.
it gets more life-giving, but I've found even in like situations where I'm a natural speaker most of the time. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
however, there are like an energetic atmosphere where I
Yeah.
find it hard to find my words.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, carry on. I carry on talk. The more you talk, the more I'll be able to answer the question.
yes, so say I'm a guest with someone else's environment versus it being my own.
Yes.
And sometimes the energy is such that we're moving through it, like panels, for example,
Yeah.
questions
Yeah.
coming, we're talking about it, we're laughing, it's getting better and better. Or there's also been times where I'm sitting as the in a workshop or a Q&A where it just feels difficult to find the words of the
Mhm.
questions they're asking, even though it's something I know really in depth
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
something I'm usually very good at. It's like a resistance.
Yeah, that is likely because when you're in an environment that challenges you, you're actually in a stretch frequency. It requires
Oh.
more energy. So in business terms, in entrepreneurship terms, it's vibrates at what I call 1112, which is where water skiing and hiking belong in your personal life. It vibrates at a higher frequency, but it requires more of your energy because it's not who you are yet, it's who you're becoming. So it takes more out of you. So when you're in those situations, they would over time, if you were doing something like that consistently every month, it would get easier and then it would flow more through you. You'd find it flowed more. And as long as you do, like, as long as you engage with that, once a month or even once or twice every 3 months, you're grounding yourself into that next frequency. However, it's really also, you have to be really self aware. When you're working with alignment, you do become naturally more self aware. But the thing I'm going to add to this is you do need to be more self aware. These are the nuances, if you like, of alignment work. And it could be that on those occasions, they're not your most aligned audience. It could be that your soul is speaking to you through the frequency of this is not a challenge because it's your next level. This is a challenge because these aren't your people. They need more of your energy to hold the frequency of the room, of the audience. They need more from you. So you need to be a little bit more picky about the panels you're on, the workshops you're doing, and the audiences you've got. Because the thing about the way us and the way we're wired as well, we can shift frequency fairly quickly. So if we hang out in the same orbits, same kinds of people, same groups, work with the same people for more than a year at a time, we've often shifted out of that frequency, and not everybody moves that quickly energetically, and then they can become a drain.
Mm. Okay.
So these are the nuances. It could be that it's your next level calling you and it's a challenge. It's not yet sustainable. It requires a little bit more effort and a little bit more courage for you to get up there and focus and be really relaxed enough to be a conduit and a facilitator of sorts, which is what you are as a speaker. Or it could be that the audience that you're in front of is a little bit more needy. They're at a lower frequency than you're at, and it requires more of your giving energy and holding energy than really is necessary for you to be in alignment. And it's time to say, you know what, this was really great, but it's time for me to move on to greener pastures in the nicest possible way. So again, it's about having that self-awareness of where you are on that alignment journey. And those are the two things that it could be telling you.
That makes a lot of sense to me. And, as worship leaders, when we are putting ourselves out there from a stage
Mm.
and the audience, what they give back and the ebb and flow between the stage and the audience, and it really could be any stage and audience, but as a long time leading worship from a stage, I see how much it takes to
Mhm.
output when it's not the same out there, and you have
Yeah,
people just kind of staring at you blank face, and you're pouring out your heart through a song, and they're going,
yeah,
or they're just sitting there,
yeah.
and it feels like, wow, what do I have to output in order to
Yeah,
affect the change in the room? And
mhm,
other times it's like, boom, here we go.
yeah,
Everybody's singing, everybody's dancing, everybody's engaging and having fun. And so I can see, like, sometimes that it is that challenge
mm,
that's calling you higher. And
mm,
sometimes it's like, this is not for me anymore. And
yeah,
I've had to make those decisions, and it's really interesting to put that in a business context
yeah,
where we're speaking and who we're getting in front of, what panels we're choosing. So
absolutely,
that's
absolutely.
amazing.
The thing about staying in those kinds of orbits or situations or whatever you wanna call them, relationships, if you outstay your welcome there energetically, if they've passed their sell-by date for you because you've shifted and they haven't, whatever they looks like, they actually it will keep you tethered to an old frequency, and you
Mm.
won't be able to move on to the next one. And that's why people stay in the same income range, because they never fully untether from the things that are keeping them tethered to the old frequency.
That's cool. So what my mind goes to now is, like, in inner healing and deliverance ministry, we talk about soul ties. And when you say tethered to the old, my mind immediately went to, it's a soul tie.
Mm,
And I never thought, I know we can have those ties to humans and
mm,
people, but I
mm,
hadn't thought of being tethered to an old mindset
mm,
or an old uh, way of doing things,
yeah,
or any of those kinds of things. I just and then, yes, relationships and things like that. But
yeah,
the reason that we're staying connected in that place that we don't want to be connected to anymore,
yeah.
and to break that so that we can be free to move to the next
Mhm.
place and be connected there. Ah,
Absolutely, and it can be really, really challenging to do that. Human beings, we like routine. We like our comfort zone. There's a reason for that. But the thing about it is, remember what I said to you at the start, is everything that you're thinking and feeling is actually your human translation of what your soul is communicating to you through frequency and vibration 24/7.
that's a really cool concept. I love the communication.
Yeah, it's what the soul wants. It's saying to you, "You know what? This is past its sell-by date. We've got work to do at the next level. This is keeping us stuck here. It's time to move on."
Mm.
You know?
And it can be as simple as breaking that tie.
Yeah, as not going to that place anymore, breaking off that relationship, putting a pin in the relationship for a couple of months so that you can really fully embody what's you're being called, who you're being called to become, and what that looks like, so that you can set some clear, firm boundaries, so that you could enter perhaps back into the relationship at a frequency where you can navigate any kickback, because human beings are designed to have relationships. We're not designed for desert islands.
Yes.
And our relationships with other people are very, very important. But if we're in a relationship where we are less than, or we're choosing to manage that relationship with those other people by devaluing ourselves, or allowing ourselves to be devalued, we're not in alignment.
Mm.
So it's time for us to set some clear boundaries, honor the boundary, communicate the boundary, enforce the boundary. And people don't like that. It's a natural part of growth process, a journey of self-knowledge, and it can be tough. It's easy. Well, it's simple. The
Right.
concept, I make all this very user-friendly for my people. It has them thinking in terms of alignment in a really grounded, practical way. It kind of it demystifies the world of energy and whatever, if you like.
Yes.
But it's very simple to grasp and understand, but it's not necessarily easy to
Right.
implement.
Right.
But that's
Wow.
why I do what I do in the world, and I support my clients to navigating those first 3 to 6 months. That's the toughest part. And then all the cosmic tumblers start to fall into place, and then you're living a life of that you may only ever have dreamed of
Mm-hmm.
very quickly.
Awesome. I have enjoyed this so much, Karen.
Great. Well, thank you for thank you for inviting me. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you for allowing me to yada, yada, yada and not
I
shut.
love it. I love it. I love it. Before we move on,
Yeah.
before we go to the next thing, I know that we have to wrap up, but it's just been a pleasure this is definitely an 8, 9, 10 for me. So it's really awesome. I love that concept, and it's really something that we can take with us. And so you had said that you have an assessment that can help people. Tell me about your assessment and tell me where people can find you.
It's called the Money Alignment Assessment, and it's an assessment where you go in and you answer a bunch of questions. You can spend as little or as much time answering those questions as you like, and then you submit it to me, and I have a look at it, and that thing lights up like a Christmas tree for me. I can see exactly where that person is going to get the biggest bang for their buck in terms of the path of least resistance to make a change, make a new choice that is going to have them vibrating abundance, whatever that looks like for them. So whether it's money, wealth, or whatever, fill in the blank. And it's free to take that assessment. And I will take a look at it, and we'll jump on a call, and I'll let them know what I found and what I discovered, and give them their next steps so that they can go and move things forward. I like to give at least 1 or 2 steps, usually more. I don't hold back. If someone's in front of me and I know they're there for a reason, and I've got a job to do. And that's how people find me, and I get to do my 8s, 9s, and 10s in the world. So yeah.
That's amazing. So I'm going to go take your assessment.
Please do. I'll hold you to it. You can go over to my website, and there's a way that you can hook up with me there. And once you're on my list, I do a monthly masterclass that is also free. Once you're in my orbit, finding a way to do the assessment is most paths lead to that, so it's not difficult. But I am more like, it's more of a challenge to find me because I'm not really on social media or anything like that.
Right.
But you can find me at my website is www.soulwhispers, which is soul as in SOUL whispers So you can find me there. You can hook up with me there. I'm on Facebook as Karen Baines Conscious Wealth Mentor if you want to send me a direct message. And my assessment will make sure that everybody gets a link so that they can come and fill that out. And I'd love to talk to I try and make time to talk to everybody that fills it in. So
That's amazing. I'm excited to take the assessment and get it out
well,
there, because
well,
this is life-changing work that you do, and I really appreciate you spending time talking to us about it and sharing your energy and your time with us. That's amazing.
it's been an absolute pleasure, Leslie. Thank you so much. And your work is life-changing too, getting it out to all of those people. You're doing a great job there.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Radiant Leader, to dive deeper into our resources and connect with a powerhouse circle of like-minded leaders, come join our free community right now over at authenticvoiceleadership.com. I will meet you right back here next Tuesday. Your voice matters. Lead wild, lead free. Stay radiant, my friend.
You're